Okay. Okay, sorry for my thing keep stopping, steady stopping. But let's get back. So we ended off at where she hugged her kids. She hugged Hajime and Desmond as she hugged them. After that, um we Naruto leaves. He leaves the house. He says, Mocha, I'm gonna go to the store really fast. Okay? And Mocha says, don't leave me again. And then Naruto chuckles and says, I'm just going to the store, Mocha-chan. And she blushes, cause like I said, she hasn't heard Naruto's voice in a long time. So she blushes and she smiles and says, okay, Naruto-kun. And Naruto leaves and he goes to the store. On his way to the store, he sees um Nejire on the floor getting beat, and he thinks about his past life, and he looks in the mirror and he says, in his head he says, does she deserve this? And about thinking and Naruto thinking and thinking, he says no. But as he's walking over there, the villagers that's about to molest Nejire, they they they're about to, and but Naruto, he moves. When they're about to, Naruto, he moves so fast and he stops them. He cuts off their heads. And when, remember when Nejire cheated, um it's basically he did that. What he did to that guy, he did that to those guys. As soon as they tried to attack Naruto, they fell and died. And Nejire, she looked at Naruto with she looked at Naruto and she said, "Oh, it's you." And Naruto says, "Yeah, it's me. I just couldn't I can see let you get hurt." And she blushes and says, "Thank you, Naruto-kun." And he blushes. Actually, no, he doesn't blush. He says, "You're welcome." And he says, "You're welcome, Nejire." And she says, "Where's the charm?" And then Naruto says, "There is no charm. You don't deserve it." And then Nejire says, "Please, just give me another chance." And she starts crying on her knees, or she starts crying, bawling out in tears, and she runs and she hugs Naruto. And she just cries in his chest and she says, "Please, Naruto-kun, please give me another chance." And Naruto thinking, should I give her another chance? I gave Mocha another chance. And she says, well, yeah, I guess I should. And then he says, okay, fine. But if you do that again, you're gonna perish. And she says, what does that mean? And and he says, you'll be wiped from existence by my blade. And she gets scared and she says, oh, okay. She says it in a low voice. And Naruto, he grabs her chin and he grabs it slightly, like soft, and says, hey, don't be like that. And she blushes and says, okay, Naruto-kun. So, basically, Naruto, or, Nejire, she says, can I get on your back, Naruto-kun? And he says, yeah, sure. So he's giving her a piggyback ride. And as he goes into the store, he gets some food, some ramen, should I say. He gets some he gets some ramen, and after he gets the ramen, he gets some clothes for Nichire because her clothes are ripped. Her clothes are tattered and ripped, and he gets some Pampers for his kids and stuff like that. But his kids are like 4 years old, so I guess they're potty trained. I really don't know what age you get potty trained, so I'm gonna say he still gets some Pampers, and they're like the most. They're actually no, we're not gonna get to that yet. He goes to his house and he opens the door with Netri on his back, and then the kid says, who is that? Papa, who is that? And Mocha looks at Netri and like shocked eyes and says, and he looked at Naruto, and Mocha looked at Naruto in disbelief and said, "Why'd you bring her back here? She cheated on you." And Naruto says, "Well, I gave you another chance, didn't I? I guess I should give everybody another chance." And she says, "Oh, well, I guess you should, Naruto-kun." And as she says that, Mocha, when Nejire falls off or gets off of Naruto's back, and she hugs him, and basically, she's trying to she's trying to you know do the dirty deed. So basically, she pressing her jambalayas on Naruto back, and Naruto, he knows what she's trying to do. So basically, he picks her up and says, "Oh," he turns around, kisses her on the lip, and says, "Not right now, my love." Well, he says, "Not right now, Nejiri-chan," and she blushes because he said Nejiri-chan and not just Nejiri, and she's happy that she blushes, and he goes to Hami. Hami is his main woman. He goes to Hami and he says, "Hey, Hami," and she says, "Hey, Naruto-kun," and then they kiss, and he says, "Well, do you want to watch a movie with Mocha and Nejire?" And Hami says, "They're back." Yeah. And then Mocha says, Naruto and Hami come out. Naruto and Hami come out the room, and and Nejire is like, "Oh, hi, Hami," and then Hami's like, "There's no need to feel down about what you did, Nejire. Nejire-san, just at least Naruto-kun gave you another chance." And she smiles and says, well, she smiles and she says, "Thanks. I really needed that." And they all sit down on the couch and they watch a movie. And the fourth, oh, I forgot to say this. I'm not sure if I said this in my last part, but Nejire, she had a kid. She had 2 kids before she left, and I said their names. I'm not sure if I said this in the last part, so I'm saying it again. Their names were Naruto Jr., Hebi. Naruto Jr., Hebi, Bakugo, Naruto Jr., Hebi, they're gonna have one girl. It's gonna be Naruto Jr. I'm sorry if I said the letters, them names like that, but it's Naruto Jr., Hebi, Yumi, and Yumi and Hajime. So they all 4 of them are watching their own. 2 of them are on Nejire's lap because that's their kids. Yumi and Hajime, that's Nejire's kids. So and for Naruto, Bakugo and Naruto Jr. That's his kids. Those are his two kids. One of those Bakugo belongs to Bakugo belongs to. We're gonna say Bakugo belongs to I forgot Mocha. Bakugo belongs to Mocha, and Naruto Jr. belongs to Hobby. Since he had the best relationship with her, he wanted to rename. He wanted to rename his son after him, and Mocha or Hobby, she agreed because she wouldn't go down. She wouldn't like decline anything Naruto said unless she didn't want to do it, and Naruto wouldn't decline. Naruto would basically be the same thing. And after they get done with the movie, Hobby, no, Nejire and Mocha fall asleep, and Hobby, 18 plus scene, Hobby, she get horny, cause they just watch. We gonna say they just watch a romance movie. They watch How Will Life. I forgot the movie name. I think it's called How to Be a Man or no, What Men Want. They basically just watch What Men Want. And basically, after they watched that movie, she got horny and she said, I wish Naruto could treat me even better. And Naruto hears this and he picks her up and she says, what are you doing, Naruto-kun? And he says, I'm treating you even better. And she blushes and says, what do you mean? Says, you'll see. She lays her on the bed and they start kissing with tongue. And Mocha says, we're going there, Naruto-kun. And she takes off her shirt and her bra. And Naruto takes off his shirt and his pants. And they just, he groping. They still kissing with tongue. And she feeling Naruto like Naruto, he not inside her yet. But like she basically like feeling his his dangling. She feeling his dangling pressing against her. And she says, Naruto, you're horny, aren't you? And he said, yeah, I am. And he uses enlargement. We're gonna say he can enlarge other people's body parts and his body parts. So he uses enlargement and he enlarges her storage knockers. And she feels it and she says, Naruto-kun, what's going on? And he just said, nothing, I just used enlargement. And then he has another, we're gonna say his Rinnegan, his Rinne Sharingan, and whatever the other ones are. They put her in the super sensitive mode where if she's even touched, if you've watched, actually we're not gonna, let's stay on topic. Basically, he put her in a super sensitive mode. Like if you even touched her, whatever, like in her normal square, if you if you just start beating it up nonstop, she's gonna come out. Like she's gonna come easy, and she's gonna be super sensitive in her normal square. So Naruto, he lifts her he lifts her leg up, and he lifts her legs up, and she says, Naruto-kun, I don't like that position. And he says, okay. So he flips her over to doggy style. mm, she says, "Are you just gonna tease me, or are you gonna?" And then, as soon as she said, "Or are you gonna?" He is enlargement, and he just stick his stuff in, and yeah, he just stick it there and her on that square, and and Naruto he beating it up, and then after he beats it up, Naruto he basically after he beat it up he basically he just you know he calm, and she says, "I wanna bear even more of your children." And hearing this, Naruto said in his mind, I already got enough kids, I don't need no more. And he says reduction, and basically it takes out all the it takes out all he can basically make, since he's a lustful demon king, he can basically make somebody, if he wanted a girl to get pregnant, he would make her get pregnant. But if he didn't, he win. So he said, I already got enough kids. And then he laughs. He laughs and he says it this time. He says, um, Hami, I'm sorry, but I don't want any more. And she says, okay, Naruto-kun, if that's what you want, then I'll obey you. And Naruto, he says, okay, since you're being respectful to your master, I'll give you even a better treatment. And she goes red, and Naruto, he goes super fast, super rough, and she just he comes like 4 or 5 times, and she as well does 4 or 5 times. So as as he does that, then sorry if you heard that. As he does that, she's on the bed twitching, and they hear a knock at the door. Doom, doom, doom. 3 faint knocks at the door. Nasa says, "Oh man, as soon as I was gonna use milk release too." And she gets down and says, this one in her head, under her breath, she says, that's his most powerfulest fun time jutsu. And she says, he was gonna honor me with that. And she pouts while she's under she's covered herself with the cover that her Naruto left. And he says, I'll be back, homie. I'll be back soon, homie. And she says, are you gonna leave again? And he says, I don't know. I'm just seeing go out the door. And Hami says, okay, Naruto, come. And he opens the door, and he sees Tsunade. I'm gonna say that. He sees Tsunade. And when he sees Tsunade tries to attack him. Or no, Tsunade, she says, I came here to see my grandchildren. And Tsunade says, Naruto says, why should I let you see my kids when you treated me like crap? How do I know that you won't take them for their eyes? And she says, I don't want their eyes. I don't need their eyes. I just want to see my grandbabies. And Naruto, he thinks that Tsunade's changed, but she's really just coming for power. And she goes in there, and she says, may I use the restroom? And he says, yes. It's just down the hall to the left. to the second door to the left. And he says it very clearly. And she says, okay, second door to the left. And she goes in. She goes to the first door on the left. And Naruto, he rushes in. He rides to his room. And he chokeslams Tsunade and says, she choked, he choked, he chokeslams Tsunade and says, I said where the restroom was very clearly. What do you want, Tsunade? And Tsunade said, I'm so sorry, Naruto. She said, Naruto, please spare my life. I just wanted to go to the bathroom. And Naruto, he lets her go and he walks her to the bathroom. And as she gets at the bathroom, she comes to Naruto and she says, "May I see my grandbabies?" And Naruto says, "Of course." And he points at them and he sees that they're all four sleeping by two women and says, which one is his mother? And which one's their mother? And he said, well, she had twins, as he points at, I think I said Nejire had twins. She had, as Nejire, he points at Nejire and he says she had twins. And he says their names are Bakugo, Hajime and Yumi. And he had a daughter. And, well, she had a daughter. And, and her name, as he points at Bakugo and says, that's Bakugo. And his mother, that's, Mocha. And he points, and then he says, the woman in the room that you saw, that's my main spouse. And and Naruto, he thinks, or Tsunade, she said, Tuh, he should have told me that. And, Tsunade comes in, Tsunade says, well, what's his name? And he says, that's Naruto Jr. And he's her mom. His mom is my main spouse. And, Tsunade says, oh, okay. And as she does that, as she does that, okay, as she does that, she she gets a grin on her face, and Naruto says, "What's the grin for?" And he said, "What's the grin for, huh, Tsunade? Coming to take their eyes?" And he said, Naruto says, "If you are, I'll kill you in an instant." And Tsunade says, No, Naruto. I just wanted to see my grandchildren." And Naruto says, "Tuh." And as Naruto was about to leave, he says, stay here, I'm gonna go get some water." And she says, okay. As Naruto leaves, Tsunade grabs her kunai out of her pocket, and, she tries to reach for Bakugo's eye, and she seductively takes it. As soon as Naruto heard the screams of Bakugo, he rushed in there and killed Tsunade, but Tsunade already had crushed Bakugo's eye. And Naruto said, this is a profanity part. Naruto said, "That bitch, she took my son's eye." And Naruto said, "There's only one way to solve this." Naruto got the bloody kunai off the ground, and he said, "My son, you will see again from both of your eyes." And as he took out his Rinne Sharingan eye, and he gave it to Bakugo and said, there you go, my son. Now you will see." And Bakugo, he's still crying from the pain. So, Hami, she wakes up, everybody wakes up, and Bakugo just bawling out, and the the villagers start knocking on the door and say, "Hey, is everything okay?" And Naruto, he says, "Yeah." He says, "Yeah, my, never mind. It really doesn't matter." And he said, "Yeah." He says, "No." The villagers say, "Is everything okay?" He says, "Yeah, everything is fine." And Bakugo, he says, "Daddy." He says, "Dad." He says, "Papa, why did you give me your eye?" And then Hami says, "What are you talking about?" And Hami walks in there and says, "Eye, what happened?" And she looks at Naruto, and he has a missing eye. And he looks at Hami and says, "I'm sorry, I had to." And Hami says, "It's no problem, lad. It doesn't matter, Naruto-kun. If all the children are safe, that's all that matters. And you are safe, that's all that matters to me." And it's not so blushes. Mocha. Mocha said, my son, what did they do to you?" And she looked at Naruto in rage and said, Why didn't you protect him? Huh? You just let his eye get ripped out?" But Mocha, she doesn't see Naruto. She sees Naruto's eye is missing. Eye is missing, but she thinks that Tsunade took Bakugo and Naruto's eye. But she doesn't know that Naruto that Naruto took out his eye and gave it to his son. So he says, as Maka's just screaming and yelling at Naruto just sitting there and like, "I gave him profanity." Naruto, he says, "I just gave him my damn eye, and you were talking shit to me? Tuh, I should have just left. Shuh." He says, "Tuh, I should never accept you back." And Mocha says, "Huh? What do you mean?" And she turns around and she sees Bakugo passed out from pain with another eye. And she says, "Naruto, I'm so sorry." And he says, "Yeah, whatever." And they take Naruto take Bakugo. He puts him on the counter, and he puts him, yeah, he puts him on the counter. And when he puts him on the counter, he cleans up all the blood from his eye, and he takes Bakugo's the eye that Naruto implanted in Bakugo. He takes it out, and he puts it in the right way this time. He takes it out and put it in the right way this time instead of just shoving it in there. But Naruto's eye, it still hurts, and that's it. And after after Naruto says, or sorry, after Naruto after oh my god, I can't talk. After Naruto cleans him and implants his eye the right way, he says, I don't ever want my kids to be endangered again. So remember I said in one of the previous episodes, it was four it was four it was 4 quarters of the nine tail or the 10 tails. Basically, Naruto he already gave the one he already gave it to Naruto Jr. and since he gave one to Naruto Jr., he says, you guys will never ever be endangered again. And then he says, if you all work together, you will have a complete 10 tail on your side. Never ever abandon your brothers, he says to his kids. And they all crying and says, and Bakugo, he's awake now. They're crying and they say, Papa, please don't leave us. And Naruto, he says, I won't leave you. Naruto, he gives away all his 1% or his quarters, 25% of his 4 quarters. Actually, he gives away all the 4 quarters. Well, the 3 quarters now, because he gave one to Naruto Jr. He gives one to Bakugo and so on. Out of all of them, Bakugo will be the strongest because he has Naruto's eye and has the Rainy Shari Byakugan. Actually, yeah, not Bakugo will be the strongest. We're gonna say that they haven't unlocked their dojutsu. We're gonna say that they all just unlocked the Mangeki Sharingan. I'm gonna say they unlocked the Tutomoy and okay, I really just forgot what happened. So basically, after Naruto, I'm just gonna say Bakugo and the other kids said, "Papa, don't leave me." And Naruto, like, "I won't leave you ever." And he just said, "I have to go handle some business." And and what's her name? Mocha. And Mocha says, "Naruto, this is the reason why I left. You're gonna go handle some business after your son's eye just got ripped out." And he says, just wait, don't leave, please, Naruto. And she says, "Please, Naruto." And Naruto says, "Mocha, I'm gonna go get revenge. Just wait." And she says, "Okay, Naruto." And they say, "Papa, where are you going? Are you leaving us?" Okay, close my door and get out.